Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the AmandaFest podcast. I am so grateful to have you here. The intention for the AmandaFest podcast is simple. It's to inspire and empower listeners to take aligned action towards their dream lives, whatever that looks like for you. We have an incredible episode here for you today. Nita is the definition of a multi-hyphenate. She's a former professional athlete turned inspiring entrepreneur and a dedicated single mother of 3. She's a coach. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's a designer. She does it all. But the most impressive thing about her is the way that she shows up in the world. Her story is one of resilience as she's overcome many obstacles in her life that have led her to where she is today. And I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. Before we dive into this juicy conversation, I just want to take a moment for us all to get present, get in our bodies, and arrive here together. So if it's safe to do so, I invite you to close your eyes. I love to put a hand on my heart, one on my belly, just to remind myself that I'm here in this moment and in my body. I want you to just tune into your breath. Don't try to change it or do anything different. Just notice it. Notice breath going in and out. And I want you to start thinking about why you're here today or what your intention is for the day. Maybe you're listening to this as you're on your morning walk. Maybe this is your wind down at the end of a long day. I just want you to think about what you're calling in this moment in time and drop into presence with that. So with every inhale now, I want you to think about what you're calling in. And every exhale, think of something you want to let go of, something that no longer serves you. You don't want to carry it anymore. So we'll do a couple of cleansing breaths with the intention on the inhale and the let go on the exhale. Nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top. And exhale. Feel free to make some noise and add some movement on the let go, allowing stagnant energy to just exit your body. Nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top. And exhale out. Last one, make it count. Nice deep breath in. And exhale out. Maybe shake it out. Let go of whatever no longer serves you. Welcome. Welcome to this moment. Welcome to your bodies. And welcome to AmandaFest. Nita, I'm so grateful to have you. Thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm so stoked. Nita and I we met at Mashi's event, right?
At Rafi Lounge.
Yeah. So Nita and I met, obviously, on a rooftop in Malibu doing rap yoga and ecstatic. What was it? It was rap yoga, then ecstatic dance, then a sound bath. Couldn't be more on brand.
With a cacao ceremony.
Yeah. And I found Nita immediately because she was wearing this incredible jumpsuit, which you can see on her, behind her. And I think I went up to you and I was, before the event even started, it was like, oh my God, I'm so obsessed with your jumpsuit. And then she's like, I have some in my car. And I ran to the bathroom, tried one on and wore it for the rest of the event. I'm wearing one now.
How many do you have now? I think you have like 6.
I have like 3. I'm backpacking right now, basically. I've been traveling for the last year and I'm carrying only my essentials. And I think I have 3 of them on my person right now. I think at this point I have 6 of them. It's my favorite thing on the entire planet. I would love for you to share a little bit about your story. It wasn't until I was in preparation for this podcast that I really heard more of your story and it just blew me away. And I'd love for you to share with us a little bit about, where you come from and how that's brought you to where you are today.
Absolutely. I want to start by saying My mantra in life at this juncture is the challenged are the chosen. If you have been through a heap ton of shit, it's because you were meant to develop strength through it and awareness and cognizance and a relationship with yourself to allow the inner parts of you to lift you above all that heap that you are being drowned sometimes or weighed down in through your life. I really believe that. And that mantra starts with being born to a mother who was 16. My dad wanted nothing to do with us then. She had a one night stand with a musician and she got pregnant. Her mother was killed in a car accident when she was pregnant with me. So she really had no one. Her father was an alcoholic. So she gave birth to me in Detroit after conceiving me in Arizona. So we never saw my father for many, many years. And that's kind of the start of everything. Fast forward through that, she did end up getting strung out on crack and heroin. I think doing the best that she could, but she was, in some ways, even to this day, she's still that 16-year-old girl. I think that when you have trauma affect you in the blunt way that her mind was affected, it's scientifically proven now that there are certain maturation processes that do not take course in your life until you take a proactive stance in your life and go into proactively remedy the antagonistic hurdles that have been embodied by your nervous system, by the cells in your body, and by your mind. And the trauma blunts a lot of your growth and maturity. So she just was not a strong coper. And she was a strong person, though. I get my work ethic from my mom all day. I know I do. I grew up knowing a mother that could work 3 jobs and still be on crack and still be a codependent with her boyfriend. That's fucking work ethic. That's not stupidity. That's sharpness. You have to have extreme acuity to perform in life the way she did. I really believe that my mother at heart is a high performer. She is just the epitome of somebody that does not fucking quit. Even when she was a crackhead, she was really fucking good at it. I mean,
she was committed.
She lived, and most people that do crack don't live. But then when you speedball, she speedballed when you're using the crack to get high, and then you use the heroin to level it out and go into a more euphoric place. That speedballing cycle usually kills people instantly. So she lived through that.
She's a survivor.
She is a tremendous survivor. And I'm very proud of her. We don't have a relationship. There's a whole lot behind that. But I'm very proud of her strength, her resilience, and for what she's gone through and put me through. I feel like she encumbered upon herself even that much more trauma. So I give her a lot of credit for the strength and the conviction that she has to keep going, because we know like suicide rates are at an all-time high, anxiety, panic attacks, all of that is due to the incapacity that a high percentage of people feel that they can't cope. There are people that feel they can't go on or they can't move. They're frozen in time by anxiety. I'm very proud of her, but that was the start of things. And I was a 2-time dropout. I dropped out at 14 and then again at 16 and went back to high school my senior year, went to day school and night school all year, and got a full academic scholarship to University of Arizona and went on to become Miss National Fitness and got married and had a family. And then my husband left me when I was pregnant with our third. And here we are today. I'm a single mother of 3 and I have my 2 businesses. I've retired from my athletic career. And that's that. That's the whole thing. That's the whole shebang.
Okay, we have a lot to dive into here, Miss Nita. First of all, I just want to say your story is incredible, but just the way that you speak about your mother, even though you don't have a good relationship with her, I know how difficult it is to come to a place of compassion for your parents, especially when you're dealt the cards that you're dealt. It's very easy to go into victim mentality. It's amazing that you've arrived at the place that you've arrived at and come out the other side, 1, so successful, and 2, with so much love and compassion for your journey and for the person that brought you into this world. So I just wanted to say, before we even dive in, that alone is beautiful and is worth recognition.
Thank you. Thank you. And she'll probably never see this, but shouts out to my mom. I'm always sending her love, light, and lots of prayers. And I do love her. I do love her with all my heart. She is the first love of my life. Every person's mother is. It's where you learn life.
And at the same time, you can love her and not have her be a part of your life for whatever reason, but to not be living with resentment. I read something recently that was saying when we are being really hard on our parents, to remember that it's their first time doing life too.
Yeah. And I think the phrase that came to mind when you said to have enough love for her and not have resentment, I came into the conclusions that I've now lived by for many years, that there are some people you just have to love them so much that you want to let them go on their journey. You don't have to judge it. You don't have to condemn it. You don't have to agree with it. You just love them enough to let them go on their journey. Just let it be. Like,
so interesting. I was stopping myself from saying that word. I wanted to say, love them, let them.
Yeah. Yeah. Love them enough to let them go on their path. This is their journey, and you've got yours, and God bless that I even got here. My dad wanted her to have an abortion.
You were meant to be here, though. You were meant to come onto this planet. We needed you here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like I was meant to be here. I love being here. I love all the yumminess and the adventure and the hurdles. To me, it's just so, life is such a delectable act. That's what it is. It's something delicious, and it's something to be savored. And even in the hardships, it's just like, oh, so delicious that I got to encounter and conquer that I got to take on that challenge, and I got to wrangle it, and I did. That's fucking fun to think about.
So, have you always viewed life like this, or was there a distinct moment where there was a shift in mindset and perspective that has allowed you? Because I imagine a lot of the successes that you found in your life started out with a mindset shift. Unless you always had this light inside of you, which I wouldn't be shocked if you did.
I think we're all born with it. I think I'm just a little stubborn, and I wasn't willing to let it be suffocated out of me, or the illusion that it could ever be suffocated out of me. I wasn't willing to buy into that, despite that other people, including my mother, a lot of people wanted to shut my light down, because it's like, shut the fuck up. When you're very vibrant and filled with life, especially as a child, a lot of parents, they're antagonized by that because they're not happy in themselves. So they try to stifle it. Oh, behave. Oh, be quiet. Oh, we're out in public. I even think about when my kids were loud and boisterous. I was an encouraging mother, but because I had not yet healed a lot of these things in myself, these antagonistic cycles were still existent in my behavior and my perception. I was very stifling to my girls, especially. My son was more like me. He was like, fuck you, you're not doing that to me.
Yeah.
My daughters were like very proper and behaved. And I just think that I was very stubborn. I was not going to let that be wrangled. I came up with this phrase when I was like 12 or something like that. And I just remember a little voice was like, persistence always prevails. And I've always had that phrase in my head since the first time it ever entered my thought process. It's never gone away. It's been like
persistence prevails.
Yeah, it's been like a pulse for everything.
Yeah.
I've thought that since I was like 12 years old. And
so you were born with this fire. Now that you're sharing this, I am very much understanding why our lights were like, I was the exact same way as a kid. And it was tough, I think, being around people that didn't get it. As a kid, my mom would always say, she was like, there were two types of people when it came to me. There were people that got me and people that didn't get me. And she was like, the ones that got me loved me. Mm-hmm. And the ones that didn't get me could not stand me. Yeah. Because I was tough. I think the better question would have been, was there ever a point in which your circumstances was there ever a point where you saw that light dipping?
Many times. Like, you know what? This is not for me. I've done everything you said. So can we be done here? Like, I don't want to kill myself. I'm not doing the suicide thing, but can you just take me out? Do it by natural causes, because I'm a mother and I don't want to be a coward and be that example to my kids. I love my kids, so I don't want to kill myself, but can you please just take, and I prayed for months for that. And I finally had a car accident. And I remember when the car got spun, as I was spinning across the 405, I spun across like 4 lanes because it's a big highway, you know, the 405. I got hit and my car started spinning. And when it stopped, I was off the lanes, out of traffic's way. All the cars that had passed by did not hit me as I spun across and around. And then I like stopped. And as I stopped, I remember just being like, wait, I'm okay. And then I was really fucking angry.
Oh my God.
Because I was like, the whole time I'm thinking, okay, this is it. Yes.
Wow.
So I was ready. I'm done.
Wow.
I'm not doing this anymore. Thank you. You're finally fucking taking me. Thank you. And I was done. I was like ready. I was like, my life has been what it's been. It's going to be a great story. I'll die with dignity and honor. They'll know that their mother loved them, that she was here to protect them. And I did not abandon them. Thank you. Thank you. You answered my prayers. And then I was alive. And then I was like, fuck you. And then I was really angry and I started screaming. And that year I actually had 2 car accidents. And I was very angry that both times I lived through them. And both times my reaction was the same. And I was just like so infuriated. Like, why won't you fucking take me? I have not sold out. I didn't turn into a prostitute. I didn't turn into an addict. I didn't turn into a liar. I didn't abandon my kids. I didn't do any of this shit. You've shown me that people can do. I haven't done it. Will you fucking let me leave now? I am done. I was ready. I was so ready. And I was so angry both times. But I think after that second time, some part of me just realized, because that time I was like screaming and I was just, finally I ran out of gas, like screaming, and I was dizzy. And that accident, I know the guy that had hit me was just like, this bitch is fucking crazy. What the fuck? Sitting there screaming, pounding my steering wheel. And I remember just being like, okay, but I'm still alive and I'm here. And I don't know, I was just out of gas, and I think I was kind of stunned and shocked. And at that point was when I realized I need help. I can't do this alone anymore. That was when the shift happened, when I went into anger management. But I had always been that very resilient, like, I'm going to take it all on. I'm going to do it. Okay. I'd been that way up to that point, but I hope that people get that when you do the work, that's not the work. That's not the finish line. The work is not the tasks, because I did all the tasks. I did all the things. I did the college. I did the marriage. I was a faithful wife. I did
what you were supposed to do. You did everything you were supposed to do.
I did the right things, but I never did the right things for me, because I never fucking figured out what that was. I just was busy doing the right things. And you can do all the right things and still be super fucked up. And that's where I was. I had done all the right things, but I had not done the right things for me. And that was when I realized, with the champion system, which is what I now coach people with, my system, the life system, I realized there is this element that was completely vacant in my system of operation. I was a high performer.
Right.
I was on task, but I was completely unself-aware. I had no self-awareness.
It sounds like you were in like a deep state of survival mode, right? Let me do. Yeah, let me do. Let me perform. It's a really common wound of feeling like we need to perform for worthiness, not feeling like we are worthy just inherently by existing, that we need to be the best and win the champions and do this and do that and do all of these things in order to even be worthy of love, in order to be good enough to exist. And it sounds to me like that moment in the car, I imagine, was this moment of this culmination of a life's worth of unprocessed things that you just were like, it's okay, it's fine, it's okay, it's fine, it's all good. I imagine that felt amazing. screaming and yelling and getting it out, moving through it. Did you feel like cathartic afterwards?
At the time, I was hoping that I would scream so loud that I would get a fucking aneurysm. I just really wanted to die. I really did. I really did. I was like...
When was this?
Oh, I don't know the exact year, but I know it was after I had retired from my fitness career. So it was definitely after 2015.
I didn't know any of this about you, by the way. So it's incredible to see the person that you are. But I always say, we talk about this on almost every single episode, the people that you meet that are the happiest and brightest and most loving, that are pouring and just like, they have gone to the darkest places humanly possible. The light does not exist without the darkness. It's not possible. So while I wasn't expecting this exact story, it doesn't surprise me that you've been through such like depths of despair and feeling that way, because you're polar opposite of the way that you show up. It's like, you had to have, like, it couldn't have come out of nowhere. I have so much love and compassion for what you went through, and like so much gratitude for how you've evolved.
Thank you.
Since that moment. You're one of those people that you can feel your energy from a mile away, and it's so pure, it's so genuine, it's just infectious. You just pour love. You are love exuding out of your fucking like aura.
And
it's but it's so beautiful. And I think it's so important for people to understand that that doesn't come out of nowhere. That takes deep work. And I'm curious, what is this program? So you created a process based on your own transformation journey to help people through. Can you share a little bit more about that?
So the Champion System is an 8-pillar system for high performance individuals specifically, but it works for anybody. It's an acronym. It's cleanliness, hydration, abundance, mindfulness, playfulness, inner circle optimism, and nourishment. Like I had said earlier, we are all light. And then we have these bodies as individuals. We're this fractional component of light. We're a light, and then we manifest this body and this identity. And then when the body's gone, we're still that light. So we're that light the whole time. But people are so convinced that all of this is the existence. And really, we are the existence that will continue to exist when this whole experience is gone. We are existence in an experience. The existence is the light, and the experience is the body. And so with the Champion System, what I help people understand is in this experience, there's 3 levels of the way existence can express itself through us.
So did you create this? I still want to paint the picture of from that moment in the car, right? You had this moment. What happened right after that? What did you do in terms of having that type of a moment of, I don't want to be here. This is my rock bottom. This is my moment of transformation, of shift. Like, what happened after that? What steps did you take? What work did you do to get from that moment in the car to this person now who, one, is sharing this information, but has this information and understand? Like, I mean, what was the path to that?
Well, it actually, the path started scientifically, because you can tell I'm very science-based in all my approaches. So that final stage, when you stop emitting those same signals because you become aware, because you've created efficiency, well, you can create new neural net activity. You can't build new neurons, but you can develop the awakening of current neurons. You have over 200 billion neurons in your brain. You're probably only using 5 to 20% of your brain at best, right? So you can awaken new neurons that will also awaken other neurons with their electric currents. And then you build new neural nets, and you've diffused, dismantled, and dispensed the old patterns through this nuance. And then when that changes, you change the brainwave activity that's going out. That's how you change your life. That's when people get the, oh my God, I'm so fucking powerful. Look at what's happening. How I came about that information, and how I have the understanding that I do, that I shared just now, is because when I was in college, I had no idea. I was like, I'm proficient at getting boyfriends, and I can get good grades if I work really hard, but I don't really know what I want to do. I guess I'll go get a communications degree. So that's what I did. but I was like still not really purpose driven, I would say, at that point in my life. I just knew I was going somewhere. I didn't know where. But I discovered this book in the library one day, and they were talking about brainwave activity. I was like, alpha, beta, theta, delta, and this means this. I was like 19. And I was like, this is so fucking amazing.
You discovered neuroscience in college.
Yeah, and what's funny is I didn't even know that it was neuroscience. I just knew about this brainwave activity thing. There were no neuroscience classes when I was in college. There was nothing like that when I was in school. That was shit that like doctors talked about. It was not stuff that the general population was interested in. I don't even know how I came across this in this book. It was like a book, and they were talking about how they had done the brainwave activity scans, and they were talking about these brainwaves as a result of this study. But that's the only thing that stood out to me was the brainwaves. And I was just, then I just started delving down this path. I still had a lot of my very dysfunctional behavior, but that was my first draw.
At that time, though, at 19, did you start to connect what you were reading and learning about from a scientific level? Because you said that you were lacking self-awareness for a really long time.
Yeah.
Were you starting to make connections in how that was operating within your own self and having, no, not yet?
No, I was making connections in the idea that I could manipulate what was happening in me, but I had no self-awareness of what was happening in me. Because to me, I was just fine.
I
wanted to know how I could do more. And that's the mistake that I think a lot of high achievers make is, well, I'm not going to be aware of where I am now, except for how it's going to make me get to my goals. So how can I get to my goals? Because that becomes our dope. That becomes
the craziest thing about all that, I would say, with the healing journey in general. I remember when I had the childhood that I had, whatever, and then I became an adult. And the reason why I stepped into the healing space was because I realized I had these unhelpful patterns. Like these patterns kept repeating over and over in relationship after relationship, friendship after friendship. And I was like, what's going on? Well, what was going on was the fact that I didn't deal with any of my childhood trauma. I grew up, I turned 18, I moved out of the house, and I was like, okay, everything that happened before I was 18 didn't exist. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen and move forward. And then you start to recognize if you don't heal the wound, like you don't heal the healing, like the actual point of wound versus healing the symptoms of the wound, right?
Right.
And so I realized if I want to have better friendships, if I want to achieve, the career that I want to achieve, if I want to call in the type of partner that I'm genuinely seeking, it starts with going backwards and addressing things from the very, very beginning. I agree with you. I think that that's something that people don't realize is necessary. They think that they could skip that part. They think that they can just fast forward through all of it. And, they talk about inner child healing and this and that. And it sounds woo-woo and it sounds annoying, but there's no fucking way around it.
Really not. There's not, because the physical manifestation of your trauma is literally the only thing that holds you back in life. Like when I say
it one more time for the people in the back.
Yeah. Like when everybody's born, we're born into this body. And like I said, we're born into experience. Then we have a stack of experiences that happen on a daily basis over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And a lot of those are deforming the experience, but the light is still in there. If you would just undeform, and how you do that, what I say always with the champion system is it's about diffusing, then dismantling, then dispensing. You can't dispense until you dismantle. It's like shitting an apple out of your ass. You have to digest it and break it down and then shit it, right? Okay.
What a beautiful metaphor.
So you have to dismantle it first before you dispense it. Well, you can't dismantle something if it's got all this electric current going through it. You'll shock yourself. It's like sticking your finger in a light socket.
Right.
You cannot do that. You have to diffuse first, dismantle second, and dispense third. That is how the process goes. And that's basically another representation of the 3 stages or levels that people go through with the champion system. First, it's diffusing, then it's dismantling, then it's dispensing. And
okay, so going all the way back to now we're in college, we're reading about, neuroscience, we're starting to make connections of, okay, I'm not self-aware, but I understand that this is how things work. I'm trying to hack my brain. I'm Nita, 19-year-old Nita, being like, I'm not going to address any of my childhood trauma. I'm just going to use what I'm learning in this textbook and apply it to a little algorithm for success. Is that where we're at right now?
Yeah, because I realized then the more I went down that rabbit hole and kept learning about brainwaves and then investigating more and more of these experiments, I was like, wow, so I can get my brainwaves to make me want to exercise. And then if I exercise, I can get my brainwaves to make me crave certain foods. And if I eat certain foods, I can get my brainwaves to make me want to exercise. And if I exercise, I want to exercise more. And I was like, and I want to be fit and I want to be cute and I want to be strong and I want. So then it became this pursuit, this insatiable pursuit of like more. And then it was like when I went into the fitness industry, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm on the stage and I've never done a day of gymnastics in my life, but I'm literally competing against girls that have been doing gymnastics since they were 6 and I'm kicking ass. That's not enough. I want the state title. Okay, now I got the state title. That's not enough. I want the national title. Okay, that's not enough. I'm going to get another state title. Okay, regional. You got runner up. Okay, go do another regional show. Okay, runner up again. Okay, 2-time regional, 2-time state champion. Go on and win the national championships. Still not a fucking enough. I'm still literally at that point in my life. It was a 20-year journey that I was in the fitness industry. And there I was in 2015. I had won the national title and I just was like, you know, I had won it in 2009, but like in 2015, I was one of the most notable people in my industry, and I was recognized, and I had been in magazines, and I had been all over the internet. This was way before I even understood what trending on the internet was. I was trending on the internet. I didn't know that. I didn't know what it was. I was just like, I'm getting free shit all the time, and people are to give me money to be at their events. And so like, I really didn't understand what I had at my behest. All I was thinking of, and that's the problem when you're just constantly in achievement mode, you lock yourself out from all the beautiful opportunities that you have actually gifted yourself with all this achievement. You're just so busy on, I'm achieving, I need more.
The next. Yeah. The thing about success, they're always like, you know, enjoy the journey. It's about the journey, blah, blah. And like, okay, yeah, it sounds woo-woo, but it's like the goalpost is always moving.
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast the other day where this girl was talking about being an entrepreneur and reaching her first $1 million. And she was like, this was a big goal. It was a big thing. And she was talking about how the high of it lasted for about 15 minutes. And then all of these other things started happening. And then once she achieved that goalpost, she was like, well, that just unlocked a whole new level of now I'm looking to do this, and this. And it's like, well, how can we enjoy the process and sit in gratitude looking at the life that we have right now? I think we're constantly saying, okay, for me, I can't wait until my business takes off and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But how can I look at where I was a year ago and how many of the things that I've manifested that I was so desiring a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, that now I have achieved? And it's gratitude. And talking about presence and happiness, I believe the keys to happiness are presence and gratitude. How can we just sit in that reminder of we're living in what we asked for yesterday?
We really are. I just did a post the other day. I said something like, this is how I am when I'm thinking about my fantasy life. And it was me like playing on the beach. And then I was like, and this is how I am when I realize there's no such thing as a fantasy life and that I'm actually living my reality. Like, I'm not living my fantasy life. This is my reality. So it doesn't exist. It's either real because I'm in it and I'm allowing it to be through me, or it doesn't exist because I think it doesn't, because I think I need. And then at that point, you're not present, you're in lack.
And our bodies and our minds don't know the difference between a fantasy and reality. So if you are living in delusion and thinking whatever it is that you're thinking and living in, that is true. Whatever you think is true. And so I say that all the time, you know, with people that, you know, like manifesting, I'll use it as an example because I'm nomading right now, right? Like free places to stay. If you go, oh, that's not possible, I could never do that. That's true for you.
Yeah.
anything is possible if you believe it is. And I know that sounds so fucking corny, but I've seen it proven over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And if you believe that something's not true, you will be reaffirmed that over and over and over and over again until you break through those limiting beliefs and step into the reality that something greater than what you're being presented with is possible. Because if you don't even believe it's possible, then it could be presented to you and be right in your fucking face, and you'd be like, no, that's not true. Nah,
Particular activation system is essentially the monitor to the senses, guiding the senses to what data to collect for what meaning that the whole nervous system and the biofeedback loop has assigned to get as the neurochemical concoction that the reticular activation system is programmed to telling everything to get. It's all chemical. It's all science. And I'm not anti-woo-woo, but
it's helpful to have the science to back it. It's helpful to be able to be like, this isn't just my opinion.
Right. It's not Mary Poppins. I'm not trying to be Osho here. This is not me being a guru. I'm just taking 2 + 2 and 3 + 1, and they both equal 4. And it's just all in how you look at the math of it. To me, woo-woo is fine. I'm not a big woo-woo person myself, but I can vibe with it because I understand the science behind it. I couldn't if I didn't understand the science behind it. And I would not be the person that would be like, oh, life is so free and fun. I would not be that person. I'd be like, get the fuck out of my face if that person.
Well, it's so interesting because the universe keeps presenting me with examples of people that have arrived at very similar mindsets and mentalities that I have. Mm-hmm. For me, I arrived there through a variety of modalities, through movement, through ecstatic dance practices.
Yeah.
But a lot of my current POV of the way that I view the world and understand the world has come through my work with plant medicine. That's been my journey.
Yeah.
I've met so many people that have arrived at the same place.
Yes.
Through different modalities.
I have done it. I did it after I had been doing the work already with other things. So I took a very organic human and science approach. And then that with my nervous system and my biofeedback loop being in a new place, it led me and the medicine called me. So I think that medicine, you don't explore it, it calls you. If it
100%.
You have no business exploring it. It just doesn't make sense. But
I literally had this exact conversation with somebody last night. It's hard to describe because you're like, what do you mean the medicine calls you? It's like, well, if you don't know what that means, then it's not calling you.
Well, and there's no reason to assign a meaning to it. Just keep living your life and being in the process.
Totally.
So what I really loved about what you said is that multiple modalities. I don't anticipate for everybody to say the champion system's the way for me. It's the right way. It's the one. I anticipate that people just simply open their minds to the truth that healing and living fully and being fully self-expressed and living life on your terms in your time is only achieved through multiple modalities. A fucking talk therapist or a psychiatrist. I have clients, literally, I have a psychiatrist as a client. I have a psychologist. She went to school for 4 years after she finished school for 4 years to get her doctorate and do all the things she's doing. I have therapists that have come to me for support with, upping their game. It's not a one-shot deal. Your destiny does not get arrived at with one fucking thing. It's a multimodal approach. And it doesn't have to be the champion system. It doesn't have to be AA. It doesn't have to be like I go to CODA and I have the champion system. I am in Codependency Anonymous. I still work my 12 steps I integrate that with my work with the champion system.
It's like the caveat of the podcast message, which is, stepping into your dream life, whatever that means for you.
Exactly.
Because my dream is different than your dream. My version of healing is different than your version of healing. Yeah. And that's what all of these modalities are called tools.
Yes.
They're tools, and they're meant to be, you have a variety of tools that you can call upon, and whatever resonates with you. For me, ecstatic dance has been a modality that has resonated super deeply with me. And it's something that when I'm feeling stuck and when I'm having a hard time moving through certain things, I know that I need to get into my body and move. And for me, that is so helpful.
Yeah.
But for other people, maybe not.
And it's
you know,
effective. You can see in their cadence and in their glow, you can see when what they're doing works for them, and when you can sense the inauthenticity when somebody's just not
totally
there or fully present, and they're just woo 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 woo, or if they're just high all the time and they're like, oh yeah, I'm so happy, but they're
it's about, there's two pieces to it. There is embodiment.
Yes.
Which is a big piece. And so for those who don't know the word embodiment, because I remember the first time I heard that word, I was like, what does that word mean? Yeah. To embody something is to fully integrate the lessons of whatever it is that you're learning. So for you, you know, reading about the neuroscience, you understood it, but you didn't embody it until later on in life, right? Exactly. So understanding intellectualizing something versus living it fully in your expression, in your day-to-day, in your being, in the way that you show up. Yeah. And then the other piece of it is integration, right? It's a part of it, the integrating and embodying. But the integration is whatever modality it is that you choose. Mm-hmm. I believe that all of these modalities, I use this lighthouse metaphor, I've used it for plant medicine, and then I've realized that this could be applied to all modalities. The modality is the lighthouse. You're rowing a boat in the dark, dark waters, and the modality is the lighthouse. So you're in the boat. Now you see the lighthouse, so you know, okay, land is over there. So you've got confirmation there is land. Great. Yes. You know, generally like that direction. Okay, cool. Yeah. And that's all. That's all the modality does, is it shows you, it lets you know and reminds you there's land, and it shows you generally which direction it's in. The integration work and the embodiment work is doing the work to row to the land. Yes. You have to go there. You can't just know it's there and be like, all right, I'm good now, because you're still in the fucking water. Like, yes, I love that analogy. What a beautiful analogy. I really like that. Still in the water. But it's so true, because that's the piece that so many people, and that's even when it comes to manifestation, right? They're like, it's woo-woo, it's this, it's that. Yes, you have to let go of those limiting beliefs. You have to unlock your mind. You have to understand the neuroscience and the understanding. Like, your mindset has to be on point, for sure. And the biggest piece, and I think I say this every single fucking podcast episode, the biggest piece of this process is the aligned action piece. And the aligned action piece is the integration piece. And the integration piece is the fucking rowing. Like, this is what it is. No, I totally agree. I love that. I love the way that you broke it down. And that's totally accurate. And it's very much, again, I'll say, like, that's another way that someone could assign labels or meanings or corresponding verbiage with the 3 levels of the champion system, because it really is like everything you just said. That's literally, it's the same things. It's just, what are you talking about, and what is the application for you? And that's really it. It's like, I don't care if everybody thinks I'm Miss Personal Development, or I don't even like the phrase coach. I prefer to just be like, hey, I'm your support. I'm a support person here for you on your journey. This is your shit. You're the one doing the work. I don't want credit. When my clients graduate from the program, I have zero interest in them singing me any praises. I want them to own all of the results, because they did all of the work. All I did was act as a guidepost and a mirror at different points, and somebody who could offer some ideas, tools, methods, and help them implement it. But either way, I'm still only a support. You take all the credit. Please do not give that to me. It's not about my program. You're the lighthouse. You are the lighthouse. Ah, thank you. I like. Okay, so we got a little bit off track, because I still want to understand how we got from, now we're in college, we've studied the brainwaves, we understand it, then we went into achieve. And then that's where we left off. Where did we go from there? Pretty much, I mean, I think we've kind of covered it. Like, I achieve. My husband left me when I was pregnant with our 3rd baby, and I had to continue my life, and I did. And I was like, I can either learn how to use these wings and fly, or I can go splat on the concrete, and I'm not a fucking quitter, so I'm not giving up. And so I brought my kids out here to California. My kids are all very talented.
And I wanted to give them a shot at what they, said were their dreams. So I came out here with that in mind, continue my career. And then when I was near retiring from my career was when I went through that really massive identity crisis, and that just that I want to fucking give up. And then ironically, it was the same time that I was coming up with the jumpsuit. So it's like all of that happened. Like a lot of people don't know this because I don't talk about the suicidal part when I'm on my jumpsuit page, but I was going through the research and development for my company and trying to come up with this concept while I was extremely on edge. I was really antagonized within myself. And at the same time, I was always kind of a life coachy person. Back to your point about that, people that have gone through the most darkness, we don't want to see other people live there. So we do our best to help people come out of their own darkness. So I was very committed. And that's where I think the transition happened, was during that suicidal phase. I think I finally fucking woke up to the fact that, like, I'm not going to get the opportunity to die and go be just this light and get out of this until I do what I'm here to do. And then I started awakening to the concept that my life coaching and nutrition and training background, all of my proficiencies, and even being a single mother with a son who has special needs, all of my different life challenges had curated the foregrounds upon which I was meant to tread so that I could do what the fuck I came here to do. So I think that's where everything arrives full circle to today. Is it's all that ugly stuff. And we didn't go into like the molestations and rapes and all that, but there was a lot of that. And my mother was unfortunately an aiding and abetting party to some of that treatment. So, I mean, you go from everything like that to achieving the amount of successes that I had achieved in my life, and having the kind of notoriety and bubbly personality, and then go into suicidal mode. It's just the universe working through all the chaos. And if you just hold on, no matter, and now I'm getting emotional, it gets really fucking ugly and it gets scary. And sometimes you feel alone. Guess what? You are. But you are still as I said, you are the existence. This is the experience. So the experience, you are fucking alone. And so be it. It's better because everybody else is just existing. They're just as fucked up, if not worse. So like exist alone. Experience alone, and then allow the existence to come through that. And that's what I think happened. I think my existence just finally came into play when I finally trusted it. I went into anger management right after those car accidents. I did go into anger management. I did go and seek help through 12-step programs. I returned to, I had been to CODA before many years prior to. So I was very familiar with the 12-step programs. And I really started wanting to formulate my process, if you will, and support other people with it. And I wanted it to be more than just this life coachy edge personal training, which is what I've been doing for years. I really wanted to do more. I wanted people to understand what I finally understood, which is that I am so much more than this. And I am so much bigger than these accomplishments. And what the fuck am I so, up at arms about? Like, yeah, I went through a lot of shit. It was an honor because I'm still here. And I'm not, we should not celebrate trauma by any means, but I am here. And I'm so fucking grateful. That's like being somebody who goes to war and saves families and comes back out of that war alive. It's fucking traumatizing getting shot at. But when you realize, and I saved all these families after that war, all these people lived and I lived through it. And you're fucking honored. That's how I feel about the traumas in my life. Like, I'm blessed. I feel super happy all the time because I'm like, I get this existence for my full self-expression. I get this experience for my existence to live in full self-expression. That's fucking rad. And I get to share that with other people. And whether they reflect on that for themselves yet or not. I just get to be a little seed in that experience.
And you get to inspire people just by your being, just by being. And I think that when you go through those really hard moments for certain people like yourself, I very different life experiences, but I've gone through the waves of, whatever it is. And there are moments where I experience certain things and I remind myself that I'm experiencing this so that I have compassion. I'm experiencing this so that I truly understand. And I feel like I was brought here to support other people. And so when things get hard and when I go to those dark places and when these things kind of happen to me, for me, they happen for me. We were talking about it before we got on the podcast. I take a step back, I zoom out for a second, and I go, okay, this is the part of the book, like this is the chapter where I get to truly understand what this feels like and what this is like, so that I can be that beacon of support and hope for other people, coming from a genuine place of understanding. And I think that anybody that's going to come to you and wants to work with you, and even if they don't want to work with you, I don't work with you, I just know you, and you've had such a beautiful impact on my life, just in your demeanor, just your pure essence, the way that you show up. You make people feel seen and brighter and happy just being in your general sphere. If we're going to take any big, massive takeaways from what you just shared, what I'm hearing is gratitude. You very easily could have taken all of these horrible circumstances that happen in your life and lived in that victim mentality forever. You could have given up. You could have gone any which direction. And instead you chose, your soul chose. I mean, maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was this higher calling, but you chose to remain grateful for the opportunities that it unlocked for you.
For sure, for sure. When I look at just every human being I look at, including my mom, I look at any person, no matter how antagonistic or ugly they've been to me, my heart is just full with love. And I just want so much
compassion
for them to feel the same love that I feel. I simply want them to feel the love that is truly them. I feel the love that is truly me. We're all that. And then like I said, we have this experience, our love in existence, and then we're born into an experience. And I wish so much for people to just see their strength and their beauty and their power and their magic and live in that. But if they're afraid, unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. If that person's antagonizing me with that fear, I definitely can't do anything about it. So I draw my boundaries, but I still hold love in my heart because that's what I am. I'm not going to ever let anybody take that away from me. I'm never going to let anybody make me assign anything less than that to not only myself, but therefore I can't assign anything less than love to another person. It doesn't mean I have to be all in their face, or we have to engage, or that I even have to tolerate anything and turn my back. I can still speak up for myself and speak obstinately and stoically, but have love in me. I mean, for instance, when somebody does victimize you, like in, say, a workplace situation or a deceitful situation in a friendship or a relationship, you can still speak your mind and be coming from your peace. And I'll end on this because I know we have to go, but like my biggest phrase, that is my coffee cup phrase, my clients say in my program, your peace is your power and your power is your peace. And if you stand in love and you speak from that peace, you will always speak in power. And even if somebody else experiences it as antagonistic, if you're coming from your peace and you're standing your ground, it's indelible. You're undeniable. Your truth is existent no matter what. Nobody can ever take that away from you. So my mission with the Champion Life System is to help people curate the space of peace in full self-expression from within themselves, because that's truly what they are. And when you're living authentically by that peace, you're living authentically, and that becomes your power. That becomes your modus operandi, and you're unstoppable, and you are like this indelible light to others.
Yeah.
That's how you bring light out in the world, not by going and knocking everybody on the shoulder and saying, you have to be light, you have to be light. Do this right thing, do this right thing.
You just got to show them. You just got to be the light and show them and allow them to see that it's possible. And you give them permission to be the light by you being the light.
Exactly. And that's why people like you and I are so connected to each other, because we recognize that light in each other, and the warmth and the yumminess that's in that. It's just people like that. We find each other. They've done experiments on this. You could have a room of 10,000 people. You put 2 alcoholics in that room, they'll fucking find each other, because like will always attract to like. So if you are in full self-expression, you'll find others who are as well. And I always say we shine so much brighter together.
So beautiful. Nita, this whole conversation has been so amazing.
Yes.
Thank you for being so open and vulnerable and sharing your story. And I know it's not an easy thing to do. And I know that everybody who's listening to this is going to walk away from this conversation with a new perspective on life. And you are the light. Just by you being, you get to inspire others to be the light as well. Before we wrap it up, I would love to give you the opportunity. I know you've talked a lot about your champion program, but if there's anything else you'd like to plug, share, any events coming up, I know you've got your retreat in Costa Rica, ways in which we can connect with you, find you. This is your moment to share those pieces, and then we'll close it out.
So pretty much, if you want to buy a jumpsuit for yourself or your girlfriend or your wife or your sister or your aunt, or you and a friend want to get one, they're all on sale. The whole site's on sale right now. And you don't have to take it off to go pee. That's the big selling point.
I was like, I 100% am the biggest fan of these jumpsuits. Like, that is how we initially connected. I personally have 6 of them in different colors. I wear them to dance in, I wear them to yoga in. You can dress them up, dress them down. They're so comfortable. And when you go to festivals and you go to the bathroom in a porta potty, you don't have to take the whole thing off. It's incredible. So if you are interested in getting one of these jumpsuits, we're going to put the link down at the bottom. And we're also going to but my affiliate code is Amanda Dances, and you get 15% off, and I get a bump back as well. So I hope everybody gets a jumpsuit. We can all match at the next festival. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend.
Yay. And then if anybody wants to look into the champion system, it's just onthemark.com. And on the mark with a Q, because my last name is Marquez. So on the mark jumpsuit for the jumpsuits, and then onthemark.com for the coaching. And I do have lots of freebies on the site. So anytime you go to my site, no matter how often I restructure it, and I'm always revamping it, I always have freebies. So if you can't see yourself getting, committed to a program with me necessarily yet, I have all kinds of free goodies on there. Just go ahead, sign up for the newsletter. You can do your own free assessment. I have a tool on the website, and you get all kinds of freebies when you do the assessment too. So I'm all about, I love to just share goodies and yummy stuff with people they're going to chew on. They're not going to get cavities. So you have all kinds of yummies there. So yes.
Well, thank you, Nita, so much. This has been incredible. Yep. I'm so happy to have had you. And thank you all so much for listening. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye. Love you.